Hi, I'm Rick Steves. In this series, we're exploring the best of Europe's offbeat nooks and backdoor crannies. Glad you're with us. This time, we're spicing things up, leaving Europe for the more exotic charms of Turkey.